Stamper, and I am here today to do the virtual edition of Fall Fun 2024. So if you are a virtual attendee, this video is for you, and if you're attending in person, you're welcome to watch it as well. I'm going to go through each project and each kit and give you all the scoop. So let's kind of get started. So first of all, just gather some basic supplies. So you need some sort of an adhesive. I like the liquid glue. I like to use Scotch tape for ribbon, but you can use glue dots too. You'll need some dimensionals, some scissors, and I also like to use the Take-A-Pic tool. And then a stamping mat is helpful if you're using any photo Palmer stamps. But these things mostly are optional, but you do need to have some sort of adhesive. Also, if you refer to the PDF, then you will see what stamp pads and stamp sets I used, but you can improvise by using your own supplies, and I will give you some suggested changes as well. So let me move this stuff out of the way here so we can get started. All right, our very first project is this gorgeous fall card. And this is a really fun technique. I think it's called Black Magic, but I might be wrong about the technique. And then we're going to also decorate the envelope a little bit. So this particular one, I used 3 different inks plus a Memento, Tuxedo Black Memento, but you can use a basic black. You'll need some blending brushes, 3 of them. If you don't have blending brushes, you can also use sponges or daubers. And if you don't have those, then you can just kind of wing it a little bit. Maybe don't even color your flowers in and do the technique. That's up to you. So the 3 colors that I used are Wild Wheat, Copper Clay, and Garden Green. If you want to have this card have a fallish look, so use something similar to these colors. Cajun Craze would work, Crushed Curry, Mossy Meadow. You could even, if you don't want to go with fall, change it up. But I also use the coordinating ribbon with those colors as well, so you might want to change those up a little bit too if you don't use something similar to this. And then the stamp set that I used is called Simply Zania. And it's one of the online and exclusive products, so you will not find this in a catalog. It came out, gosh, about 6 months ago, I believe. And the online exclusives, there's going to be a new offering next month, so watch for those to be released. And then I use the coordinating folder. So all of your projects are dry embossed, so that's already done for you. And then I used the Sentimental Park die. So this is where you get these labels. And I think that's it for products. All right, so let's pull out our envelope. Now, I always caution you to pull things out gently and then get all the little goodies out, because lots of times there's lots of little bits and pieces. With this particular event, you each got your own package of embellishments, so there's not going to be a lot of little dots and diamonds and rhinestones inside your kit, so that helps a lot. So you get this, and you will use these today on your projects, and you'll have tons left over, so enjoy them. And then you've got 3 ribbons. Okay, so here's our card base, and let's start out by just adhering this basic black piece to the very vanilla piece. Do not freak out about this hole. This is a way to save cardstock. So this came from the middle of this, and we're going to cover it with this so it doesn't, you won't see it and no one will know about it. So it's just a way to save a little bit of paper. Also can, if you use it on a lot of layers, it can lighten the weight of your card, which sometimes will help with postage. So we will just lay that down, and then we're going to set this to the side for a minute. And I just realized I should have taped the ribbon on first. Okay. All right. So our ribbon's just going to go around the vanilla layer. So if you want to do that before you actually glue that down, then you'd want to do your coloring first. Okay, so this is the way this technique works. You are going to find the deboss side. So this is the emboss side, and it's raised. And the deboss side is not raised, and it's like inset. So you want to find the deboss side because that's what you're going to work on. And then we're going to take these brushes and we're going to color in the flowers. Now, this is one of those projects, and the greenery, that looks really ugly until the final step. So do not freak out when you're doing yours and you're going, oh my gosh, this is so ugly. What was she thinking? I'm not doing it right. You probably are doing it right. It just doesn't come together till the very end. We've done lots of projects like this in class, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're going to tap, tap, tap. And then I like to take a little bit of this off. So I've got a little scrap over here that I'm wiping this on. And now we're just going to go through and we're going to do 1, 2, 3-ish of the flowers in this wild wheat color. And I just kind of focused more on the center and then kind of just, you know, spread them around a little bit. I'm going to tell you that every one of these cards is going to look different. Nobody's will be the same. They're all little masterpieces and they're all going to be a little bit different. Let's put one down here. And it's okay if you go outside too. Do not stress about that. It's going to come together, trust me. And we can always put a little color in later if we need to. We're not quite happy. Okay, so that's it for now. I'm going to leave this open because I may go back in and stick a little bit more in there. Okay, I'm going to take copper clay next. And I know a lot of you have these in colors, but if you do not, oops, that's the wrong one. That's the green one. All right, now we got copper clay, so I'm going to ink it up, take a little off, and then go over here and put some of this in here, put some down here, a little more ink. And I'm going to put a little down here in the corner. Okay, so I've gone off, but don't worry about that. It's going to be fine. Okay, now we are going to go in. We're going to actually add some more color, but I'm going to start with the green now. And this is garden green, but old olive would work really well. Mossy meadow would work really well. Just about any green will be fine. Okay, so now we're going to put this in the greenery. And it's going to end up on the flowers a little bit too, but we're not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to have to go in and fill some more flowers in too. Let me get a piece of paper to put under this. So I don't mess up my, oops, I'm sorry. Oh boy. Okay. All right, so just fill all the green in. And again, like I said, don't worry about trying to stay inside the lines. It's going to come together at the end. Okay, I think I got the green in, but I'm going to leave this out just in case. Okay, I got to put in some more of the copper clay and the wild wheat. Let's see. Okay, let's get some more wild wheat in here. Uh-oh. I thought that might happen. Okay. It's always really dangerous to leave your stamp pads open. So I'm going to get a clean one because I accidentally just bopped that into the copper clay. And I know better than that, but I'm trying not to waste a lot of time on the video. Okay, Okay, so that one is a little bit weird on the color, but that's okay. Okay, I see we need a little more green here. Okay, all right, now like I said, it looks kind of ugly, right? Let's close all these pads up so I don't create some other kind of a problem for myself. Speaking of these brushes, you can easily clean them out. I just take them under my sink and I use my finger. I run the water and I just use my finger to kind of softly brush the color out. They are going to stain a little bit, but if you clean them up quickly after you use them, generally they will come pretty darn close to clear. Okay, let's get this on here so I don't space that out. And you can actually put your ribbon in any format you would like. This is where I like to use my Scotch tape. Now you see on this one I spread them out a little bit. So you can do that, or you can lay them all really close together. That's your jam. I'm going to put these all close together just so we can see what they look like. Oh, wait. Man, I must not have had enough coffee. Now this is where the black magic comes in. We're going to take this Memento Tuxedo black pad, open it up, and then just softly run it across this image here. And you want to start soft and then just keep going over it. And this would be one thing that you might want to do before you start is make sure that your ink pad is wet enough and juicy enough to pick up the color. And then if you can see, I'm kind of pressing down in the center of these flowers just to get a little more detail. So this is one of those things, you just go slow and then just keep working at it till you get it, the color to pop up and the dark to get all in all the centers until you like the finished effect. And I would really focus on the outside colors because the middle ones are going to get covered with the dyes and the ribbon. So I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on those middle ones because they do get covered. And you can just like that one, I see it needs to pop a little bit. And so slow and easy is the one on what you want to go on this, because you don't want it to be too black. All right, isn't that gorgeous? I just love it. So we could keep going. We could add some more color in at this point if we want, but I think we're good. All right, let's get those ribbons on now before I try to glue those on. And we'll turn it over and we'll tape those down on the back. So if you don't like to use Scotch tape on your projects, you can use glue dots, or you can use what other type of adhesive that you have. I don't like using the liquid glue. It takes too long to dry to hold the ribbon down. So to me, the Scotch tape makes the most sense. And it's also very economical. And you don't see it because this is the back side, so nobody knows. Okay, yay. All right, we got that down. You can move it around if you need to a little bit. Now we'll glue it down to this black layer. I just love the texture and the color and how that black just makes everything pop. Okay, so now we're going to get our sentiment out. Now you may find when you get your dies that there might be some little things that need to be poked out, so you can use the tip of your scissors if you've got these little snips, or you can use the Take-A-Pick tool or a stylist, whatever tool you like to use. And then for your stamping, I use the Memento Tuxedo Black, but you could also use one of the colors that you used in the flowers. Let's see, that one is a thank you. So that seems to be the cards that I run out of. The quickest is the thank you. So I'm going to use the Memento. And this sentiment is from the, oops, that didn't come out very good. The Zinnia stamp. Still not coming out. Okay, you got the general idea. I'll have to have a redo on that. So then what you do is you glue that all down to the black layer. And then I popped it all up with dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and put the dimensionals on here, but I'm going to redo this thing because I don't like the way the sentiment is. Okay, so then that just pops up there. And then when I have my sentiment on stamped nicely, I'll glue that down and then just grab some of your embellishments. I used 3 and I grabbed all 3 colors, and that's why I went with these colors because they go really well with the embellishments. All right, so that's that. Now, the last part of this is that I did stamp the envelope. And that flower is from the Zinnia. And then I just colored it in with the blending brush. Again, you can use daubers, you can use sponges, you could just leave it plain, or you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. That's completely up to you. So that's what the finished project looks like. All right, let's clean this up a little bit, and we'll move on to our next project in this class. On the way, get these out of the way. I gotta clean these up. Okay. All right. I thought this next one would make a really nice Thanksgiving card. And the DSP is from the Splendid Autumn DSP pack, which I use that quite a bit in this class, so you're going to see this quite a bit. I used the Spotlight on Nature dies. That's just cut that out of the paper. And then I used this Autumn Leaves embossing folder. And then you can see I stuck the little embellishments in here. And then I did line it with Very Vanilla. I haven't stamped this one yet. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it, so I might use it for a fall birthday or a thank you or a Thanksgiving. And then on this one, I decorated the outside flap on the envelope. So I'll show you how I did that. So this is a card that you could use blank, just leave blank for now, or you can stamp it with whatever sentiment you think you might want to use. The color of the cardstock is Cajun Craze, so that would look really lovely for your stamping. But basic black obviously would work, and then crushed curry. Since it's on the inside, you can kind of use whatever you want. So yours are all pre-embossed, so we're just going to pop this little layer up here. Some dimensionals. And initially, when I started designing this card, I had intended to put a greeting on the outside. But you know, sometimes you just get the card done. This looks like a little masterpiece to me. And I just didn't want to distract from the embossing or the die in the center. It's just also pretty. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to stamp on the outside. We'll put the sentiment on the inside and we'll call it good. Okay, so you'll want to glue that in. I'm going to stamp mine before I glue it in because, you know, sometimes you have to use the other side of the paper, and if you've already glued it in, that's impossible. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and open up these embellishments, and you can grab whatever size you want. So I'm going to take the smaller ones, and I just kind of set them inside the couple of the leaves, like 3 of them. Or inside the lower parts, the non-embossed part, however you want to put them in. Okay, now this flap. So you want to kind of take a look at your flap. Yours might be a little different than mine. I was using the extra sides of the paper. And you just line it up with the flap and then glue it. And the best way I found to glue it is actually put the glue on the flap, not on the paper. So maybe about 1/2 inch in if you're using glue, so that it doesn't run over to the side. Now you just line this up. Make sure it's all even, Steven. That's the one thing I like about the liquid glue. We got a little moving time. Push it down. Okay, and now you just take your paper snips and just trim it right up so that it's the same size as the envelope. And you've got a really pretty outside flap. And this is a great way to use up those strips of DSP that we always seem to end up, they're too pretty to throw away, but we end up saving them forever. And then we're like, why are we saving these pieces of paper that we haven't used forever? So that's a great way to use it up. Great way to make a coordinating envelope with a card. Okay. All right. So isn't that pretty? Okay. Let's put that one away. That one was pretty easy peasy. Okay, and we're on to this next one. This one's got a lot of stuff going on. So do be careful when you pull your envelope out on this one. I did stamp the edge of the envelope. My sentiment comes from the Autumn Leaves stamp set. And I've got the coordinating dies. That's what the little label was cut with. So that's from there. And then this is the embossing folder I used. And this is actually retired. And I usually don't pull these in too often, but it just fit right here on the bottom and added some extra texture. You've got some leaves. These are in the mini catalog. These are called the Golden Weave leaves. And then you've got a sprig that came from this sprig punch. And that's in Cajun Craze. This is crushed curry. And then my ink is early espresso. All right, so when you open it up, you'll see there's lots of little things in here. Well, let's get the stamping done first. And this would make a great fall birthday card or a Thanksgiving card or a fall birthday card or a fall thank you card. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and go with thank you. Okay. And then while I've got the pad out, I'll go ahead. This is from the Autumn Leaves stamp set. If you've got any kind of leaves, one of the things that I use a lot is my paper pumpkin stamps. There's always great images and sentiments in there. So that is another option if you don't have the Autumn Leaves. I think we got all the stamping done. Okay, let's put that away. Okay. All right, now let's start the assembly of this. So we're going to take our early espresso layer first. And I glued that down. And then you kind of set it about a 1/2 inch down on the card base. Basically, I wanted to be able to see as much of the embossing as possible. Now, this is a great way to use up these scraps that come in this DSP. So, and you can do whatever you want with them if you know, whatever side you'd like to see. I'm going to do this one a little bit different. So I laid them kind of all just like this. And then I glued them down. So we'll start on this side. And if you like lots of dimension, you could put these up on dimensionals. I put the last layer on dimensionals. Okay, so those are all laid down there. Now, what I did was I put that up on dimensionals. And notice I put these in the middle and not on the sides. It's because I'm going to tuck those leaves and that spread punch underneath it once I get this kind of laid down and I figure out where I want it at. Okay, so I'm going to have that come out there. And then you've got these two leaves. And those I'm going to stick up here. And you know what? The best adhesive for that is glue dots. So let me grab some really quickly. I forgot about that when I was getting my supplies out. This is where my Take-A-Pic tool comes in really handy. So I'm going to put them on the back of the leaves. Oops, where'd you go? Oh, it's popping off everywhere. And I'll put a couple on each leaf. And then just gently pick the cover up. Yeah, there. And put the largest one in first, and then the smaller one. So I layer it kind of on top. Okay, those little monsters off. Okay, all right, so we'll stick this one in first. And then we'll stick this one in. Okay, and you can layer those down with another glue dot. I think I'm going to stick one underneath here on the card because they're kind of trying to pop off. Put it right there. Okay, there we go. You can't really see it, so that's cool. All right, we could stick another one under there too if we wanted to, but it'll probably flatten out. Okay, now this, I'm just going to put a little glue on it. One of the tricks on this glue is to put your lid immediately back on it when you're done. Don't let it sit and stay open because the glue then dries inside the nozzle, so to speak. Okay. What a beautiful fall card. I love it. Okay, so moving right along. Oh, we got to put some of these guys in it. So you can do 2 or 3, whatever you feel like doing. A couple different sizes if you'd like. Put a green one in. Oh, I like that. All right, that one away and we will move along. stuff out of the way. Oops. All right, next we have another very layered one. And on this one, I actually dry embossed your envelope flap for you too. And this is I think it's called Very Fern embossing folder. And then the happy birthday comes from the Charming Duck Pond stamp set. But any birthday will do, or, you know, if you want to do this would, I think, also make a good Thanksgiving card or fall birthday. Okay, so this one, when you pull it out, there's a lot of little layers in there. So just be kind of careful with that. And we're going to start with gluing down the embossed piece and let that dry while we're doing a bunch of other gluing. Sometimes I just love this white on white. It works really well when you're embossing, I think. It's very classy looking. Okay, we'll set that over here. And the ink that I used on this is Mossy Meadow. This is Mossy Meadow cardstock. And we don't need 4 of those. So if you have 4, you only need 3. I might have overcounted. Kind of double check everybody's and make sure I didn't short anybody, because that would really suck. All right, and these are scraps from that Splendid Autumn DSP. Another really great way to use up scraps that, you know, we all try to save these things because they're so pretty. So here's a really good project to use those up. Okay, let those sit for a second. Stamp our sentiment here in the middle of our label. I think I'll go with another birthday card. I've been running really low on those too lately. Okay, let's go back. Oops, this moved. Again, that's why I like the glue. It moved, but I was able to move it back. All right, so I started up at this corner. These are all on dimensionals. And I just went all the way down. It's almost like a set of steps. Okay, get these off. All right. Okay, now the next one. The sentiment just goes right in the middle of those. You could also put it down at the bottom if you want to see more of the paper, or you could just put it on the inside if you wanted, if you like that without the sentiment on front. And then just grab a couple of embellishments, whatever color you want to pull out, or you can do 2 different colors. You can do whatever size you want. I'll do 2 different colors on this one. Oops. That's not 2 different colors. And you could add more if you want, because you have tons. Okay, all right, that's project number 4. All right, let's get to the last one. This one, we're gonna fancy up our envelope with an envelope liner. And then this is our card. And I used the Grove dies. That's where this piece comes from, and then the little deer from the Grove dies. And then this is a retired one. It's a framelit envelope liner. There are other dies out there that you can do this with. I don't think there's anything current though. I didn't stamp my middle. This is another one that's just so beautiful. I think this could be a Christmas card though. So I'm gonna stamp my one that I'm gonna make here with Christmas. Okay, so we're gonna take our paper out, and then you should have your liner, your deer, and then you're probably going to have to poke some of the die out. This one's one of those ones that makes a lot of little pieces. Oh, and I just realized you guys are missing a piece. So this is why I always do the video before I mail anything out, because sometimes when I'm cutting things, I don't realize things are missing. So there should be a piece under here. So let me look really quick and see what I got here. All right, so that kind of goes back behind, because you could put it just on the blue, but it looks a lot better when you've got this piece on it. It just brings more of a sky kind of a look. And you're going to notice this piece doesn't go all the way to the top, but that's okay because it's blue up there and you don't really notice it unless you really look. So let's go ahead and glue these two together. You can put a little glue all over it just so it stays down. You can see I'm just dabbing it pretty much in the smaller areas. Put that behind there, and you can kind of move that around whatever color you want to see more of, but line it up pretty evenly. All right, now we'll glue it to the card base. And I think that's a little piece back there that I forgot to get out. All right, now where's my deer? Okay, these guys you can stick wherever you wanted. So I kind of thought the mom should be first, and she's kind of looking back to see if the baby's following her or the baby's safe. And I did use dimensionals to pop this up a little bit. And these are pretty small pieces, so I actually trimmed the dimensionals so that they would, this is where your edges come in, kind of handy of your dimensionals, so you wouldn't see them. It's a little bit too long. Okay, there goes Mama. Okay, and now we got to get Baby in there. And Baby's even smaller, so make those pieces even smaller. Got that a little too long. I don't want that sticking out. We don't want to see that. That's probably enough to hold it down. Okay, so you can have them kind of coming out of the trees if you want, or you can have him walking along. He's already out of the trees, whatever you want to do with him. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some embellishments, and we'll put those up in the corners. And you can pull out whatever colors you want. So I did kind of opposite corners. So I'll do 2 green and 2 of the darker Cajun Crazish ones. Okay, so that's that. All right, now I'm going to put that back, and I'm going to stamp this one with a Merry Christmas stamp. So you could, I'm going to go ahead and do boho blue, so we'll see how it looks with tone on tone. But you could also do Cajun Craze or a brown that would tie in with the color of the deer, or even a green. I want to see if the tone on tone shows pretty well. Yeah, it shows really well, so that works. That's pretty. Okay, you guys, so that is all 5 cards. Oh, we got to do our liner. And so let's do our liner really quick. Stick this inside here. You'll see that it just kind of lines up and sets in. You want it to go right underneath where you're going to seal your flap. You don't really need a lot of glue. It'll stay in pretty well without much glue. Okay, and then you just press that in. And once you fold it, then it sets it. Okay, so that is a really pretty presentation, don't you think? I think this is going to make a really great Christmas card. I'm a little short. My goal was to make 100 at my retreat last week, and I got 87 made. So I've got to get 13 more in the next month or so, which I figure with events, it'll happen. Okay, if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to answer questions that you might have about your project. If anything's missing or whatever, let me know. I'm not perfect. I will go through and make sure everybody's got this piece because I already know I messed that up. And watch for the mail here. I'm going to be mailing these kits if you got the mail out this afternoon. I look forward to seeing those of you that are attending in person. And you guys have a really great rest of the month. Have a happy Halloween. And next month, we're going to do an event called Christmas Fun. And it will be similar to this one, but we're actually going to do a few giftables and then some Christmas cards. And I think that's going to be Thanksgiving weekend. I'm still kind of just working on my schedule, so it'll be Friday and Saturday. Give you guys something fun to do over the holiday weekend. Okay, have a great time with your kit. And again, reach out if you have any questions at all. See you next time. Take care.